law? I agree. I agree. Crazy Skunk Records needs the best new artist in the world. And I'm ready to sign him. I'm ready to sign him. We'll find him. I know the stocks are down. I know that our artists haven't been putting out many hits, but I'll find him. I will. I know he's out there somewhere. Yes, sir. Yes. Thank you. I gotta look for this man. I know he's out there. He's gonna play the best tunes in the world. Now I just gotta search. I'll start on Facebook. Devin Chaney. I see all these instruments on here. This is the one. I can feel it. Crazy Skunk Records. This is the guy. This is the guy. But he could be lying. I gotta make sure this is the man. I gotta make sure this is the man for the job for Crazy Skunk Records. I'm gonna have to ask his best friends. I'll have to go on here and ask his best friends. Okay, alright. I'm gonna ask them, and they're gonna let me know. Is this the musical genius I need for Crazy Skunk Records? Devin Chaney. I'm gonna make you a star.
How do I know Devin's your next superstar? Commitment. One time he was singing and it was really high, really boy bandish, and so I told him, you need to fix that, and he started taking up smoking. He risked his health for his musical career. He got up to 2 packs a day, and I was getting worried, and so I confronted him and I said, Devin, you need to cut back. And he came to me, cigarette in his mouth, took it out and burned me in the hand with it. And I tried to move, but the damage was done, and I almost got mad. And then he looked at me with a really raspy voice and just said,
"This is the price you pay."
So one of our favorite memories of Devin is when we went to go see our best friend Olivia perform at our opera. Pretty sure it was her first one. And we're all dressed up, dressed to the nines, looking fresh, fly, everything. And he shows up in bibbed overalls.
Without a shirt on.
Did he smell like smoke?
Completely reeked of them old cigarettes.
Oh gosh. Well, we get seated into the opera and everything's about to start, and then I look over at Devin and he's rocking back and forth. Just rocking back and forth. That was kind of weird, so just tapped him on the shoulder to see if he was okay. And he turns around and he has bloodshot eyes. And I thought that was so weird, but I just went along because I was so excited to see Olivia perform. I was so excited, and Devin wasn't. He wasn't excited. He didn't want to see Olivia.
Well, when we looked over, he wasn't even there.
Where did he even go?
Pretty sure he went up on the booth.
And then from there, he swung down to the stage, and then cigarettes went flying everywhere. Everywhere. I didn't even know he had that many pockets. They just went everywhere.
I thought his pockets looked kind of bulgy.
Then he grabbed the conductor's wand and he started leading the orchestra. But somehow it turned out so beautiful. I just don't even understand. It was perfect. He just took over the whole night.
I think, pretty sure I saw him in handcuffs after the show, though.
I remember one time Devin got some tickets to a concert. He was really excited about it, and he was getting a whole bunch of our friends to go with him, and he really wanted me to go,
but the tickets were super expensive. Like, they were over $100, and I really didn't have a lot of money, and then I would have to call off work, which gives me even less money, but it meant a lot to him. So I went ahead and I saved up the money, and I called off work and everything, and I decided to go with them. And the night of the concert, I was getting ready, and someone was knocking on the door like furiously, and I went downstairs, and it was Devin, and he was freaking out, and he rushed into the house, didn't even say hi to me or anything, goes into my kitchen and starts just tearing the kitchen apart. He's looking through, he's throwing our nice plates everywhere, silverware's going everywhere, and I'm like, what are you doing? You're ruining all of our new stuff. Why are you doing this? And he said, I need a big pot, hurry, I need to get a big pot. And I was like, okay. So I went ahead and I got a big pot so he wouldn't ruin any more of the kitchen, and he starts filling up the pot with water. And then he turns around at me and he says, we're not going to the concert tonight. And I said, what are you talking about? We have to go to the concert. I spent all of this money, I took off work, and now I'm not even gonna get to go. And he said, this is too important. I've invented a new instrument. And he proceeds to put his head in the pot of water, and he starts sloshing it around. Crazy. He's getting water everywhere, all of our new carpet and everything. And he starts screaming while he's just sloshing his head around in the water. And you know, I lost a lot of money. I had to pay my parents for the new carpet that he ruined, and I really got in trouble at work for calling off again. But I realized that night that Devin was a musical genius.
I had this really nice guitar that my mom gave me, so Devin obviously wanted to see it. So he came over and I handed it to him, and he started tightening the string so freaking tight, and then they just broke. They just busted off. And so he took it and he slammed it on the ground and cracked the neck, the beautiful wood finish. And then he looked at me and he said, you need better freaking strings, and left. Devin knows great musical quality when he sees it, and he's not afraid to tell you.
So, it was 3 a.m., the night of finals. I had a very, very important test in the morning that I had to absolutely study for. I hear this really, really loud banging coming from my backyard. So I go to open up the window just to see if I could see what's going on, thinking maybe it was a raccoon or a cat getting in a fight or something like that. Needless to say, I couldn't see what was going on outside. So here I am, half naked, the algebra book in my hand, studying. I go outside. Here I am, see this kid in overalls and a cigarette in his mouth. Well, it was about 3 of them, actually. There he was, banging. I mean, it just wasn't those simple little tapping. I mean, it was full-fledged banging on my drum. Or there were drums. They were on my trash cans, nonetheless. I asked him, I was like, hey, what are you doing? You know, have you realized it's like 3 a.m.? He goes, are you the garbage police? Garbage police? No, I'm not the garbage police. He goes, well, go back in. It doesn't concern you. Yeah, needless to say, he was the best darn drummer that I think I've ever seen.
One time we were at a concert together. I think it was Alkaline Trio, and they were playing the Skeleton song. And after that ended, the main singer was, you know how they talk to the crowd sometimes, and they were doing that, and somebody ran up on stage and took the drums right off the stage. And I was so bummed. How would the show go on? And Devin leaned over to me. I'll never forget this moment, and he said, come here, little buddy. And he brought me in, and he kissed me on the cheek first, and he said, it's going to be okay. Watch this. And he bolted onto stage, right past security, like a little wiggly worm, got in between them, got up to where the drums were at, moved a microphone towards his backside, towards his butt. And I was wondering, what's going on here? What is he doing? And he turns around towards the microphone. And I've never heard a better drummer Flea from Red Hot Chili Peppers, more like P from Red Hot Chili Peppers. Devin got up there and I've never heard drumming like that. And the whole time this is going on, I'm freaking out. But women are taking off their undergarments and and bras are coming off and they're being thrown in his direction. And not even looking, he's catching all of them. He's catching all of the panties. He's catching all the bras and he's putting them in his pockets, every single one of them. And his pants have started getting very big because of that. He was using his keys, his cymbals, and his butt is a drum. And people went nuts. Alkaline Trio signed everything for him. They said, come on and be on the band. He said, no, I got better things to do. Incredible. And then one time, or sometime after that, went over to his house and he said, do you want to see something cool? I said, yeah. And he took me to his back room. And he pointed at this wall. And on that wall was all those girls' underwear and bras pinned to this wall. He pointed back at it. He said, you see that? You know how I got that? Playing the drums with my butt. And he is the best drummer, drum setter, no. He's the best.
I remember a time specifically, it was when April and I first got together, and we weren't together at this point, but Devin, her, and I were all hanging out together, and we're chilling, we're having a good time, and then Devin gets up and leaves the room. He says, I'll be right back, and we're like, oh, okay. And he's gone for, like 10 minutes, and finally he comes back with the biggest harp I've ever seen. This gold harp. He comes and he starts to tell us, hey, hold her hand. I'm like, okay. So I do. I hold her hand. And he starts playing the most divine melody I've ever heard. And I finally just have to look at her, take her hand, and say, April, will you be mine?
That's not how it happened.
Yes, darling.
He wasn't even plugged into anything. It was probably like coming out of his phone or out of the speakers in the room.
You're ruining this.
No, I'm not. I'm telling the truth.
You're ruining everything, like you always do.
I was just starting out playing piano. I was going up against somebody from school in a competition, and I was pretty nervous. So I went to Devin for advice. I asked him, what can I do to win this competition, and he told me to Skype him, but I had to be in the music hall, and I had to be in there while the guy I was competing against was playing. Now, I wasn't really sure how this was going to help me, but I trusted Devin, so I did it. So I Skype him, and he answers, and he looks right in the eye of the camera, and he types out, and he says, go over to the piano, grab the guy who's playing, put his head in the back part of the piano where the strings are and where the top's open, and shut the top on his head and kill him. And so I was just like, whoa, what? And so I did it because I trusted Devin and I thought that this would make me a better piano player. I was pretty afraid, but there was just something about the way that his voice sounded. It was the smooth and the cool rasp of his voice, and the calmness of how he told me to do it was just so peaceful. So I did it, and I thought I was going to get in trouble, but Devin said, you didn't kill him, the piano did. And so I used that as my defense, and it worked. I got away with it, and I learned that day from Devin that in order to become a better musician, you just have to kill.
As we all know, I'm dating Devin. He's had my heart since he was 12 years old. He had our first dinner with my parents, came over. We had a nice chicken dinner with green beans, you know, the works. And my dad asked him, you know, why don't you hand me the ketchup, Devin, would you please? He asked him very nicely. And I knew there was something going on there. And Devin grabbed the ketchup with those stern eyes and moved it farther away from him. And I was so impressed, you know. The room was silent, but I was swooning, you know. He was so bad and so, you know, full of life and everything. And, you know, and he finished his chicken and he looked down at his plate and he still had green beans left, and I don't think that made him very happy. So he threw them on the floor and told my mom, try harder next time. And I mean, again, swooning, you know, that's exactly what I want. Bad boy, right there to a T. And you know, my parents, they weren't very happy with him at this point, but I mean, their parents, come on, who cares? And he just threw his feet up on that chair and he started looking through his phone, and I thought, is he texting? But then I heard it, the subtle sound of record scratching, and turns out he bought this app, a DJ app, and he was just, you know, scratching away on his iPhone, you know, candy cigarette in hand, iPhone in the other, just making music. And I knew, you know, that's the one for me. He's made to do this. He's made to do music. And I just knew, you know, my dad was fuming, grabbed him by the ear and ripped him out of that house, but Devin did not let go of his persona, you know, played that DJ app, you know, all the way out. And this is what he was made for.
You're not gonna believe this. Devin Chaney is the next star of Crazy Skunk Records. I'm so excited. Bye. Woo! Woo! What is that I feel? Hold on, what is that I feel? I feel music! I feel a song coming out already! Woo! Woo!
Devin Chaney, Devin Chaney. Devin Chaney, Devin Chaney.
How I love him. 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 How I love him.
When Devin came in the world, he had the eyes of every girl. Was playing music since birth. Oh, that's right. He can twerk. He's got a dog named Samson. One day he's going to live in a mansion, cup full of Kool-Aid, and he ain't stopping. If you having a party, you know he's gonna drop in. He writes songs on the back of a dolphin. Any musical problem, he'll solve. Devin's got the best voice in the city. I only got one girlfriend. He got 50.
How I love him. 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 How I love him.
In music class, he threw paper at the teacher. End of the class, he was a musical creature. In rock band, he got the highest scores. When he done, his fingers are so sore. Blazing down the street, playing up piano. Knocking others out like he, Tony Soprano. You think you're ahead of him, he already gone. Oh, look who it is, the young Elton John. 50 mil a year, you think it's a fallacy? This dude is in tune with the galaxy. Versace tank top and beanie on. He's gonna play the White House by the end of this song.
How I love him.
Yeah. Devin Chaney.
How I love him.
2014. Crazy Skunk Records.
How I love him. How I love him.
Nobody
How
better
I love
music.
him.
Devin Chaney.
How I love him. How I love him.
Young Elton John.
How I love him.
Young Kanye
How
West.
I love him.
Best in the business. Happy birthday, Devin Chaney. Welcome to Crazy Skunk Records. Hope you enjoy it. Peace.
So this Devin Chaney, you think he's a star? You think he's the person going on the next record label? That's what I was trying to explain to you again.
Who is that?
Devin Chaney. You were on his friends list, and I'm just trying to get from his friends and some perspective on how good he is, or stuff about that.
I don't know who that is, and I really don't care. I'm better at music anyways.